All right, it is time for the picks. And, Paul, you know, the folks down here, we walked around the tailgating, and there are so many different shirts, most of them purple and gold. But then there's one shirt that you see often down here at LSU. Marcus, please show Paul what's been going around Baton Rouge. You see hundreds and hundreds of these.
Woo! Paul so hard.
Mine.
Paul so little.
I hope there's something
to put on this thing.
We will see how they.
Let me tell you a quick
we got to get to the picks.
I go to my high school last night. They had a district championship game, Southern University Lab School. A guy asked me, what kind of guy is Paul Feinbaum?
What'd you say?
Little.
All right, it is time. Here we go. Time to pick the big one here in the Bayou. Number 5, Alabama. Number 16, LSU. Tim Tebow, who's moving forward?
Blake Sims' legs are too much in this game. He makes plays on third down with his legs. Alabama wins.
Alabama wins with Blake Sims running the ball. Marcus Spears, national champion hero of Baton Rouge. The guy who had a pick 6 to win the BCS championship game.
Look, Alabama is a great football team. They have talent every position. They ball like you're supposed to ball. And by the way, they have the best receiver in the country. This LSU team is young. They're going into a game where they might not quite understand. But I tell you what, it's about to be 7 p.m. in Death Valley tonight. And them Tigers gonna roll, baby.
Was that your heart?
LSU
That's my
says
heart.
Marcus. Paul, who you got? Alabama. Sweet and simple, says Paul. 2 Alabamas, 1 LSU. Welcome home.
Alabama at night on the Bayou. Both the Tide and the Tigers coming off a bye week. Hard-knocking game. Who survives that one?
Grown man football at Death Valley. I think that Alabama's going to find a way. Alabama in a close one, very close.
Now, you know, that's the toughest thing in the world, SEC. You never get a break in the SEC.
Exactly.
Every week you're playing somebody great. LSU.
Oh, man. Stupid call. Hey, not so fast. No more Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Michigan. I'm going with Alabama.
I think Alabama on the road. This is a game where Blake Sims is going to have to be able to grow up and make plays with his feet to keep drives alive. Goes down to the fourth quarter late. Alabama finds a way to win, and then they get into the driver's seat in the SEC West.
They know they had chances in regulation and overtime, but when LSU went into their overtime possession knowing they needed a touchdown, they failed to get even a first down and suffered a difficult loss to Alabama. Great game. Some upset with officiating, particularly late, but Les Miles likes the explanation he got from coordinator of officials Steve Shaw.
Last Saturday night, there was some, very, very competitive game played. They very two quality teams, really playing physical, competitive, fast, and violent football. It was certainly a game that anybody that enjoys the sport can enjoy, and but we ate today because we realized that there are ways that we could have finished first in that game, and that's good. A quality team, once they finish second, they don't feel very good about it. I went through the game, meticulously, and I saw every play. Had the opportunity to sit down by telephone with Steve Shaw, who's the head of officials with the conference, and in the specifics I'm going to try to avoid, but I think that I think he sees it in a way that allows us both to be very comfortable in how they're operating. I'll be more candid with my team than I am here, but again, I think that I think that they will review that in their business internally, and I think that I think we'll all be enjoy how they've improved as officials and will continue to.
We would like you to be more candid. You might get fined, but we think you probably can afford it. But that's easy for me to say.
Well, I want you to know something. Here's what I also do. I respect the officiating crew that works each and every game, including the one that just worked it, and I know that they want in making us the conference each game the most represented game, the most fair, the straightforward as they can. And so I have to be honest with you, I am comfortably going to comply with what would be any good measure of sportsmanship as I review the officials. I think that they do generally a great job, and there's a process in place that will correct and amend, and I'm comfortable with that. And I at this point in time, I just want you to know something. I just want you to know I could bring in, I don't know, 25 calls that we sent in specifically, and I could display them by film and go right through it. What's the score of the game? The one we just played in. 23. If that sucker could change, you would see an entirely different guy at the podium. Right now, I recognize that we finished second to a very quality team. We can do better, and that does not leave out the officials.
It seems as though Arkansas is destined for a big SEC win. The Razorbacks lost to a top-ranked Mississippi State team by a touchdown and Alabama by just one measly point. But now Arkansas turns its focus to LSU, and the Razorbacks need to win 2 of the remaining 3 games to become bowl eligible. And no surprise, they're all against ranked teams because that's what life is like in Fayetteville. The Football Power Index thinks Arkansas has a 47% chance to knock off LSU at home this week and even has them favored on the road at Mizzou. FPI gives Arkansas a 10% chance of winning all 3 games. So let's hear from the coaches in the matchup, starting with Brett Belima.
Excited about this week and the opportunity to play a rivalry game, to boot, everything that really going to do some things during the course of the week to try and educate our players on that. It's a rivalry that means a lot to this state. It means a lot to this program. Last year, to get so close to defeat, I think a lot of times blessings truly do come in a disguise of failure. And although we lost that game a year ago, I think we learned what we had to do to move forward.
As we prepare and get ready for Arkansas, they very quality opponent, both sides of the ball. Coach Bielema has done a very good job. They got the program going in the right direction. They play everybody that they play extremely close and very competitive.
It's a very good football team. They're 7-3, and could easily be 10-0. But in this league, we all know what it's about.
I'm not ready to go on to next year in any way. I am looking at the very next game and to play as well as we can, simply put. It's always been the same, period, is to continue to improve as a team and play ourselves into a game of significance. That very next game of significance will be Arkansas, in their stadium.
One thing I loved about coming to Arkansas is we're all in this together, and I know I get a lot of mail and a lot of letters that have been very, very uplifting to me, and shared with them to the team several things that people have written in and shared how much they enjoy watching our team play, and it's going to get over the mountain soon. So I think we'll have a pretty great crowd, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
The best thing about a time frame like this is our football team. We'll certainly want to reconcile this game here in the next couple hours, and then they'll want to turn their attentions to what would be the next opponent. And that next opponent, very talented, very capable, and we'll very much look forward to preparing for them, and it'll be a great challenge.
The weather is getting closer to what it may be like this Saturday on game time, so we're going to embrace it. We went out last night. We'll go out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, get out in the elements and embrace the chill. I looked at LSU, and they don't have that same weather, which could hopefully benefit us. But I also tell our fans we want a live crowd on Saturday night, 7 o'clock. So if you need to go out and walk around this week, some of that cold weather yourself to get used to it, acclimated to show up and be rowdy. I'd love it.
If it's 8 inches of snow and blowing like hell, what a great game to play in. If it's just driving rain, again, it's the opportunity to recognize what you're going to have to do to win in that game. It's another criteria that you have to figure on and make work. I think our guys would look forward to playing in a cold weather game, and certainly need to, if they are not looking forward to it, they need to get that in their mind, because there's a great chance that'll happen.
Sometimes you're the last person to know how really good you are. You know, it's one of those things kind of in life. I'm sure you've had that same thing where, you know, you didn't know how maybe good you were at writing or reporting, and someone kind of made you aware of it one day. You don't understand it until it's right there in front of you. And I've told our guys repeatedly is, you know, if all these other people think so many great things about you, but you haven't reaped the rewards of it, why wait any longer? Why not take advantage of this opportunity? So whether we're favored or not favored, we're going to handle our business the same way, and I think our guys know that the chip on our shoulder is going to remain intact.
You heard a lot about the weather. Forecast for Saturday night in Fayetteville, if you're wondering. If you're not up there now and you don't know it. Upper 30s for a high with a 50% chance of snow. So
that's hog heaven right there, bro.
Right?
That's big man weather. That's perfect for Arkansas. They should be licking their chops. They should be licking their tusks.
They've had 2 weeks to lick their tusks and prepare for this game. LSU, meanwhile, last week had to deal with Alabama. Preparing for Alabama, you don't take a minute away from preparing for Alabama. How much does that bye week and that timing help Arkansas here?
I think not only from a game planning standpoint, it always helps you, especially when you're at the tail end of the season and giving the experiences that the Razorbacks have had this season, because there have been some close losses, some emotionally draining experiences, and yet they're on the heels of a very good performance, yet in defeat versus Mississippi State. So you've got those positive takeaways, but also physically you're able to recharge and emotionally. LSU's got to be drained. It doesn't get more draining than what they just experienced versus Alabama.
I couldn't believe it when I heard it in our meeting this afternoon that Arkansas is actually favored in this game. That's remarkable for a team that has lost 17 straight conference games to be a favorite in this game against LSU. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, I wonder if some of that is, you know, the folks that put money on these games, et cetera, you know, are they paying attention to how good LSU has gotten versus the run the last 4 weeks? They've only given up one rushing touchdown, 3.5 yards per carry. Earlier on in the season, they're averaging around 5 + 6 yards a carry and hemorrhaging yards in the run game. That's a bad matchup versus Arkansas. This has been a different LSU defense, and so I'm a little bit surprised at the fact that that would be the case. I think LSU would have been favored. If you're paying attention to how they've been playing down the back past couple of games, I would have had the Tigers favored coming into this game.
We know that both teams want to run the ball, obviously. But if both defenses, and Arkansas at times has shown that it can defend it well as well, if one of these offenses has to come through with bigger plays in the pass game, which one do you trust to do that a little bit more?
I would trust actually Arkansas.
You would?
I mean, we've actually seen them do that on occasion. You know, they climb back into a game versus Georgia, and we keep hearing from the coaching staff they like that. I like what they have at the tight end positions. That's the dangerous part, given what Arkansas does offensively and the personnel groupings that they use. That could be a real threat.
Cold, wind, snow, nobody may do much in the passing game.
That's probably true.
All right.
But the thing is, I think there's too much right now attention and credit given to the spreadsheet.
What's more important than wins and losses, though?
Nothing, but we have to separate these teams. And if you say that all you've done is won,
That's all you need
versus
to do, though.
Lost one game. If that's it, then all you need is spreadsheets. You don't need to watch anybody on tape. You don't need to differentiate who's the better team.
Alabama didn't look great at times against Arkansas. They didn't look great against West Virginia at times. Mississippi State didn't look great against Arkansas. They needed to get an onside kick against Kentucky to start that game away. So every team has had games, one or two or multiple games, where they've struggled. They've found ways to win. Sometimes they haven't found ways to win. Florida State has found ways to win every single game.
It is going to be cold. Take a look at that. LSU, Razorbacks, the coldest game LSU has ever played in since 1961. It was 1992, 31 degrees versus the Razorbacks in Fayetteville, and that wasn't good for the Tigers as they lost 30-6. All right, when you look at the ground and pound between these two, no SEC team runs it more than LSU, while Arkansas has the second most rushing touchdowns in the conference with 27, just one fewer than SEC leader Georgia. Razorbacks are averaging nearly 250 yards on the ground per game, while the Tigers check in at over 220. Cold, man. Les Miles would be one of those weird guys that just shows up in the shirtless look, right? Just ready to go.
I don't know. You would know him better than I would.
Hey, when you think about Arkansas, you think running the ball. Now, when you think about LSU, they've found that identity in running the ball. So, which team is better suited for run type game?
This is such a tough decision because you look at both of these teams, but I would have to go to with LSU, and the reason why. When you look at this offensive line, it's starting to come together. The backs are starting to find the lanes, and they just wear you out over the course of the game. And part of the reason why I would give LSU the decided heads up here is because of the strength of that LSU defensive line. Arkansas's offensive line could have a difficult time pushing those guys around for the better part of the game, thus resulting in more production from the run game of the Tigers.
How hard is that to lose just a heartbreaker? Obviously, Baton Rouge was rocking. They felt like it was right there. They lose that game. How do you bounce back just 7 days later and say, let's go do it again?
I would expect them to start slow. And when I look at this LSU team, that was a 5-quarter game. If you include overtime, all the plays, all the emotions, all the buildup. And then you look at the Arkansas Razorbacks, who had a week off, an opportunity to go back and look at the film from last year, a game that they were this close to winning, if not were for a fantastic drive by Anthony Jennings and completing a long, terrific throw to Traven Durrell. That would have been an Arkansas victory. So I would expect them to start slow and for Arkansas to come out like the hair's on fire.
We've had some pretty good games between those two in the battle of the boot. And, of course, remember going back, Brandon Harris, late touchdown to Traven Durrell last year. That decided it. So that will be a good one at night in Fayetteville.
How about LSU taking on Arkansas in Fayetteville? These two teams like to run the football, but it's actually LSU who runs the football more in their offense than Arkansas does. An SEC high 67% of the Tigers' plays are run plays. Of course, LSU coming off the difficult loss to Alabama. If you look, though, over the last decade, nobody except Oklahoma has been better off of a loss than LSU, who is 25-1. But this figures to be a difficult test. Greg McElroy in Fayetteville against a team that looks pretty similar to LSU, Arkansas, and the Tigers, right?
In the era of spread offenses, we have two blue bloods of the sport. The Arkansas Razorbacks and the LSU Tigers. Both feature a fullback, both have multiple tight ends, and both try to control the line of scrimmage with the run game. Just wanted to take a look at some of the featured plays that you'll be seeing on Saturday. The power. Standard double team. You're going to see a puller coming up and around, a fullback leading, and the running back hitting it straight downhill through the A-gap. This is called an A-gap to A-gap play. It's one of the best plays in football. It's an attitude play. LSU does it just a little bit different. You can see they have the pitch action, which as a quarterback I would not have liked, because actually Zach Mettenberger right here is responsible for the backside. He has to block if in fact they do get weak side pressure. You can see the puller coming up and around, the fullback going up inside. Another really solid play. Both of these teams are as good at running the power as anyone in the entire country. They also have a play called the lead draw, made famous by Moose Johnson, Jay Novacek, and the Dallas Cowboys of the late 80s and early 1990s. What you're going to see a little bit of pass action. You're going to see the fullback leading up on the will or the mic, depending on how they identify the front. You're going to see the tight end trying to get over here to block the Sam. You'll see double teams and fans all around. LSU also does the same type of action, except they don't do it off the draw. You can see they just reverse right out, hand it similar to power, nothing to see there. You will also take a look at one of the plays that I really love, the lead weak. You see the fullback moving up in the hole. He's responsible for the will linebacker or the weak side linebacker. A nice explosive run right there, an outstanding fit. LSU runs it just a little bit wider. So you can see, this is how they'll identify it. Sam right there, that's the strong middle linebacker. Mike right there, and Will right here. He's responsible for anything outside the mic. So you can see the action, you can see the push, great cut, great explosion. Even though it's a 4-yard run, these are very effective plays. And one of John Gruden's favorites, Spider 2 Y banana. You just can't beat it. You see the banana route or the corner route in some offenses. You're going to see the bluff flat by the fullback. The running back fakes the action and cuts the end man on the line of scrimmage for an easy touchdown. In this case, they hit Hunter Henry in the back of the end zone. A great read, a good play. Against New Mexico State, we'll see the other action, hitting the fullback in the flat. Now, these offenses, they might seem old-fashioned. They might seem like they're out of date, but how effective are they? The toughness, the physicality are never more important when you're running a pro-style I formation balanced attack. It's so much fun to watch, and you have to appreciate the way both of these teams execute.
LSU.
Step in the right direction.
Arkansas. 17 straight conference losses for the Razorbacks was not enough for Vegas to have them as the favorite in this game. It's now a round of pick'em. It's going to be cold, as you saw on our AccuWeather report. Really cold. These two teams want to run the football. Who does it better? Who gets the win in Fayetteville?
Arkansas.
It's coming now.
They're going to do it 21-17. They deserved to win it last year. They did not. Anthony Jennings played well down the stretch last year. There's no question about it. There was an injury in the game as well that definitely tilted the things in favor of the Hogs, but they've had a week off. LSU played a 5-quarter football game last week, and they're going to be a little bit emotionally spent. Arkansas, I picked this game in July, and I got laughed at. Is going to knock off the Tigers.
I'm going to laugh at you now. 27-24 LSU in this game. The only way Arkansas, I think, can win this football game is if Brandon Allen can throw the football. And, oh, by the way, he's throwing against the best secondary in the SEC. I don't see it happening. LSU wins this football game.
So you disagree on that one as well.
Came down to tackling for Alabama last week, late against LSU as well, and that leads off our nation notes because T.J. Yeldon, who was tackled and fumbled late in that game, is expected to play tonight against Mississippi State. Duke Williams, the great Auburn receiver, did not travel for the game to Georgia. Georgia, they get one running back today, but it's not Sony Michel. You know who it is. It's Gurley. He's questionable against Auburn is Sony Michel. And Kenny Hilliard, backup running back for LSU, who's played a key role at times this year. He is done for the season, so Leonard Fournette may have to carry the load all the way here.
He's got to step up, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As we say, I already got the sweater on because I'm calling the Arkansas game tonight. It's going to be freezing cold.
First of all, you would have that on regardless if it was cold. You love it.
I love this, Timmy. Listen, LSU's not used to this. Marcus, you know all about that. Boys from the Bayou, they don't play in 30-degree games. Bring a jacket if you're going up there. Hey, this has been a great rivalry. The battle for the boot, Marcus.
The boot trophy,
175 pounds of gold up there. 2002. Take me through these highlights here, Marcus. Hogs down 6, 34 seconds
left.
Come on,
is that
Matt Jones?
Matt Jones. Deceptive speed.
2 plays later, Jones to Corey Birmingham. And they get the score. 15-yard celebration penalty made the extra point interesting. They won it 21-20 and clinched the West. How about 2007? Hogs on the road against number 1 LSU. Darren McFadden off.
How about him and Felix Jones in college?
And Peyton Hillis.
How about him throwing the ball? Hogs up 7.
Yeah.
Minute left in regulation. 4th and goal. Matt Flynn to Demetrius Byrd. Sends it to overtime. Triple overtime. 2-point conversion attempt.
That's a Texas boy.
Picked off.
LSU
Hogs won 50-48.
No
LSU, of course, 2 losses, goes on to win the national championship. 2008, 4th and 1, 30 seconds left. Arkansas won it 31-30. Casey Dick to London Crawford for the score. 2009. I mean, think about some of these games between these two programs through the years. 4th and 9. Ryan Mallett, Joe Adams. Hogs up 30-27. Josh Jasper, 41-yard field goal at the clap. Overtime, Alex Tejada misses the 36-yarder. LSU wins 33-30. And then last year, we wouldn't even be talking about the 17-game losing streak if it wasn't for this game last year. Jarvis Landry from Mettenberger, but Mettenberger got hurt, so it was Anthony Jennings on a 99-yard drive. Traven Durrell, LSU won 31-27. Here's Spake with Bielema. Take it away, Shannon.
Coach, you guys have been a part of some very tough battles with some very tough teams. What's been your message to your players every single week to have them continuing to show up and continuing to fight?
Well, the easy thing is just don't flinch. They're doing so many positive things. A lot of times when people are put in these situations, they have a tendency to draw back or hesitate. We just got to press forward. I thought this week our kids have been outstanding in practice. We had a bye week last week, which I think was well-timed just to heal the hearts and their minds. But we're really excited for this game tomorrow.
When you look at LSU, not a whole lot of surprises with their offense. What will be the thing that will challenge you the most in this game?
Well, I think the big thing is offensively, they got some guys that can run the football. And, you know, when it's a little colder outside, sometimes getting on the ground isn't always that much fun. But I think our guys are wired into that. Defensively, they're really big up front. They've got very, very talented players all over the field. I think it's going to be a lot about field position. Obviously, who can maintain the football or try to get it when they don't have it, and see who capitalizes on opportunities.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. If you haven't seen Coach Bielema lately, he's supporting Mike Slive's efforts.
Yeah, I
That's
like the beard.
stash
Clean it
for
up.
Slive to support Mike in his battle with cancer here in the month of November. His wife Jen the other day, though, gave him a kiss goodbye, and she said, "You got to bring it down one notch. You got to bring it down at least one notch here after that kiss." Mrs. Bielema said. All right, let's talk about LSU here, because Marcus, this does not exactly set up well for them. They played the tough game against Alabama, and now they're going to play a game in 30 or mid-20 degree weather.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how these guys respond to what happened to them last Saturday. That was a tough-fought game, and I'm pretty sure they left that field saying, man, we could have won it. We let one slip away. Those kind of thoughts and those kind of feelings can linger into a game like this, and Arkansas is definitely not a team that you want to have that thought in your head when you're going in to play these guys. It's going to be a physical battle. It's going to be cold. Emotionally, LSU has to be ready to play this football game, because Arkansas is starving for a win, and LSU is coming off a real disheartening loss. So it doesn't play well for them, but you still got to play the game.
And my question is, how healthy are you? I mean, last week, that is one of the most physical games that any two teams have played this season. They were beat up. You see Kenny Hilliard's going to be out in this game, which is a huge loss for LSU because they run the ball over 50 times every game. It's going to put more pressure on Leonard Fournette and Terrence McGee. How healthy is this team? How much can they handle physically?
Paul, the only time under Les Miles that LSU has had back-to-back losses, he's 25-1 after a loss. The only time back-to-back losses was against Arkansas in 2008. I feel like I ask this every week of you. Is this finally the week that Arkansas breaks through?
Well, that's because you do.
The answer is yes, yes, and yes.
You like them?
I really do, and I think Marcus's point is a good one. I mean, Alabama came out of that game physically beaten up too, but they have a national championship and an SEC West title to play for. I don't know what LSU is playing for other than pride right now.
LSU Arkansas is going to be the last game of the night. It's an 8 o'clock ESPN 2 game Eastern. It's probably going to be around 30 degrees at kickoff and get down to the low 20s. It will be the coldest game ever played by LSU under Les Miles. We know that already. Who do you have?
Brett Bielema and his new beard get it done today.
Oh, you like Arkansas?
I like Arkansas
over LSU.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tim says Arkansas.
Look, we talked about it earlier in the week. I know that this is probably going to be LSU's most difficult game, but I think the young fellas respond. I think they go into Arkansas and get a win because they're able to stop Arkansas's run game.
Now that's a shocker. You picking LSU?
Well, we'll see when we get to this Mississippi State, Alabama.
Yes, we will, won't we?
Fear the beard. Bielema wins.
Consensus says Arkansas.
It's too much to lose
They
Kenny
break
Hilliard.
through. We will see if Arkansas is able to beat LSU.
Meanwhile, in Fayetteville, that's an SEC. I know the Pygmies have played down there. Wind chill in the teens tonight. LSU comes calling. No longer Thanksgiving weekend affair. Two teams who want to pound the rock. And the Hogs have been decent stopping the run since that Auburn loss. Quietly, Brandon Allen playing a little bit better. He's complementing the running game. 15 touchdowns, 5 picks. Got to do his part against the tough Tigers secondary. Last 2 years, LSU has recovered well after losses to Alabama. This one, though, especially painful. We're going to see if the Hats team can bounce back. 25-1 following a loss. Here he is with Shannon Spake.
Coach, you guys are less than a week removed from one of the most emotional games a lot of these guys have had this year and some their entire career. What was the process of recovering and preparing for this weekend's game?
Well, the good news is they played awfully hard. They showed great effort and relentless, push to get victory. And we like us. We like how that team played, and I don't think that they're, certainly anytime you give as much effort and energy that way, the memory of your last game has got to be pretty positive, even though you finished second. So I think our team recognizes, what we did, and we're going to see if we can play like that the rest of the way out.
What will be the key to matching that intensity this weekend on Saturday?
Well, just realizing who we are and how important it is to us that we finish strong and that we still have ambition. We want to play ourselves into a game of significance. That very next game will be Arkansas.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys?
He's a beauty. I mean, finished second. They finished a close second against Alabama. That game didn't lose. He's got a good history of bouncing back. You wonder if the Tigers are going to buy it.
He's got a good history of bouncing back, but also after you play Alabama, it's a physical toll. And now Arkansas comes in, and they're a physical team. They're a hungry team. They're coming off of a bye. I think Arkansas wins this ball game. I think Arkansas beats LSU. They get their first SEC win under Brett Bielema.
When you say that, because I agree with you, it feels like we should say Arkansas upsets LSU. They're favored. They haven't won an SEC game since Brett Bielema's been there, and they're favored to win the game. I don't get what Vegas is doing with that game, but I do look at this as a really low-scoring game. LSU's defense has improved as much as any unit in college football from week 1 to week 10. I think they'll be tough to be able to run the football, and I think Brandon Allen is the key in the game. And on the other side, Anthony Jennings in their passing game, Des, I mean, we know they've got some great receivers. They're young. But I think in that environment, I think it'll be tough, especially the emotions. Yeah. The last 2 or 3 weeks for LSU, they've had to be fired up, optimum peak of emotions.
What's there to play for now?
A little bit of a letdown. What's to play for? I like Arkansas as well.
I want to go Hogs, but I just can't see them finishing a game. I mean, they've had so many teams on the ropes this season. Right. And couldn't finish. And I think that's going to be what's going to happen today. And you look at Brandon Allen, Kirk talked about him. I believe that the Arkansas quarterback is going to have to make a couple of big throws. I don't think he's going to do it. I think the LSU's defense, when you look at their secondary, I think those guys are going to be the difference in today's game. Both teams love to run the ball, so you know they're going to stack the box. But when Brandon Allen has to throw the ball, I expect LSU's secondary to come up with a big INT, maybe even a pick six. I'm going Tigers.
17 in a row. October 13th, 2012. That's the last Arkansas SEC win. These two guys say, tonight's the night. Yeah, I know. Be all right. Rod Stewart saying that. Yep. Take off your shoes, pour a good long drink. I don't think you're thinking about football. You're thinking about something else. But tonight's the night to have a big party in Fayetteville.
I think so.
LSU, they got to come off that gut-wrenching loss. Miles' team's bounced back pretty well. Is tonight the night for the Hogs to snap that 17-game SEC losing?
No, sir. Oh. I got LSU. I think the front seven will stop the run, and someone on the back end will get a pick six.
Marcus?
I was excited to see what Arkansas was going to do this season. I was a Razorback fan as a kid. I think that they still got a lot to learn, maybe next year, whatever. But and they are in Arkansas. But I'm married into an LSU family.
He follows the show.
I couldn't go back to Texas if I didn't pick the Aggies, but I can't go home with a happy wife if I didn't pick the LSU Tigers. So that's what I got to go with. I'm sorry.
That's the best reason of all.
You had to let me off on that one, man. Happy wife, happy life kind of deal.
This Navy SEAL, but not so fast. I'm going with Arkansas.
I'm going with Arkansas, too.
Oh, good.
I think that it's going to be very low scoring, and I think which quarterback makes a play. I'm gonna go with Brandon Allen and the Hogs. Brett Bielema finally gets his first SEC win. They've been close. Today they find the way.
They defer. Arkansas will receive.
This venue and this coaching staff yesterday and sitting down with them, you would have no idea that they've been in this kind of struggle to find an SEC win.
Trent Domingue, I'd like to forget the end of that Alabama game. Will be kicking off for LSU. Keon Hatcher and Corliss Marshall back for Arkansas. Pig Suey rains down as a touchback from Domingue sails through. Of course, he has a very good run game to lean on. And it starts with Jonathan Williams. Had him out the past month. He's a speed burner. And the tap pass goes with Corliss Marshall. And he shows you that speed for a moment out past midfield for Arkansas. Play action. Right over the middle and getting it complete to the very talented Hunter Henry. Very famous. 3rd down and 8. Allen trying to set up the screen, and he does to Marshall. And Corliss Marshall, what a difference he's made coming back just on this first drive alone. Put it right through. Nice and steady. For LSU. Jennings under center.
And look at the level of humanity around the line of scrimmage from Arkansas.
And they meet him and put him down. Braylon Mitchell right on top of Leonard Fournette. Changed personnel groupings. After the timeout is snapped over his head inside the 10. Safely just falls on it.
Often it's right or left. Not very often do you see it a 1.5 foot above the quarterback's head. A loss of 28 yards for
Here's Buda Collins. Remember, Kenny Hilliard, the senior running back, is out injured. He's gone for the rest of the season. So you'll see more of Darrell Williams. And it's that front.
The voice and the leader of this group.
2nd and 15. Jennings again. Design quarterback run. And he barely gets back to the line.
Every single play. Doesn't look like an awful lot. But that first down completion, if you could put that on AJ's chest, even 2-3 yards, put you in a different predicament.
And here is AJ Derby up and over Tre'Davious White for another Arkansas first down. 2:55. Williams. Good spin to get a little something extra there before. 3rd and 8. Allen, as he has Hatcher. And Keon Hatcher. Williams, good lead block and easily in.
Between the tackles can become so much easier for this group.
LSU's converted their last 3 third downs. Oh, that was dangerous. As Mitchell Owen watched the true freshman from Narlands. Play action. Incomplete. 27-yard attempt. And he put it off to the right. So all that, and still a goose egg. Here's Alex Collins. And a good run for Collins, spinning his way.
Melvin going to get into that Heisman conversation.
Brandon Allen, as he gets it complete, and now maybe the conversation changes with Jared Cornelius.
Yeah, the 11-yard run, critical, and that's all timing. That is an aggressive throw there from Brandon Allen.
They're showing it in the A-gap right now. This time they bring it, they run a stunt. There it comes, and there it is. And it was Trey Flowers coming around.
The only thing you can't do in that situation as a young quarterback is now take a sack, and he's seeing the pressure come right at him. His eyes are downfield. I'll give him credit for that, but you have to feel that pocket collapsing around you.
This from 47. Good drive, good rotation, but once again to the same exact target. Allen has a man, and it is complete as he's able to get it downfield to Jeremy Sprinkle. And they pick it up with Hunter Henry. And Henry in the open field, a stiff arm to Jalen Mills and a little bit more.
It's tonight where this football is going to go. You've seen 4 shots into the red zone to the tight ends. Expecting a little bit of man coverage in 3rd and 5, and they run the crossing route between Derby and Henry underneath.
Brandon Allen with time. A lot of room in front of A.J. Derby. And a first down for the Hogs.
Cannot go backwards.
Able to get to the outside of that rush. And able to get it downfield. That was a really good ball thrown on the run by Brandon Allen to Keon Hatcher for 13 yards.
Throws this ball's out of his hand as Hatcher is still working his way back to the sidelines in order to.
Collins on 3rd and 1. Kept his footing right into the end zone.
Is over with, okay? If you want to shake hands, that's fine. But once it's done, I want either 5 of you, 10 of you, 20 of you, or all of you to run your ass down there and get that boot.
As David Basil, former Hog linebacker and businessman who put forth the golden boot. And that's the prize of this rivalry game. Downfield shot, Jennings. And Doral can't get it.
And it was those two once again. It was Doral who connected on the go route last season in the 4th quarter comeback win. A little different environment, not down 17, but all about giving you the underneath checkdowns.
Quarterback run this time. Ball comes out, and Arkansas's got it. Darius Philon jumped right on it. So all that, and it's right back to the Hogs.
Martrell Spade is a bad man. He's one of those seniors that Brett Bielema pointed to as is only getting better as this season's evolved. And when your senior leadership doesn't put their head down and doesn't wallow in self-pity and all these tough, difficult losses, but instead improves.
Or not.
Or none at all.
And allowing him to get off a big boot. That allows kick coverage to come down inside the 20. Just the opposite. Everything that could have gone perfect in special teams for Arkansas.
Completions and that 4-man rush do their best to get home.
As Jennings is going the wrong way, and he's going down inside the 5. It's been a few drives like that tonight for LSU that have just been in reverse. Third and 25, Jennings from his own end zone. And he is taken down again. Boy, a week after they took Bama to the limit. Now the Hogs are just all over them. Trey Flowers and Dietrich Weiss combining to get Jennings. You know, LSU, of course, shut out against Alabama the last time, that BCS title game back in January 2012. And the last time Arkansas had a shutout was September 2006. Jennings couldn't escape the pressure that time. Darius Philon and Weiss again in on him. And Rob Smith's defense. 4th and 16. Incomplete. Well, they can get ready to party.
Look at it. Good things can come on the other end.
3rd and 2 run will just put this thing away with Jonathan Williams. Brett Bielema said some of the greatest blessings in life are disguised as failures. Well, 17 times they went up against SEC opponents, and they failed. They competed. They acquitted themselves well. They had some heartbreak, but it didn't get done. And tonight it did against LSU. And doesn't it feel good to come in a rivalry game? The battle for the boot, and Arkansas is finally an SEC winner. You got to go back to October of 2012. They're going to run and get that boot. They're going across the field. That's theirs now.
This city's going to come unglued.
$175 molded in 24-karat gold. And doesn't it feel good? Well deserved for Arkansas. Go down to the field as Shannon's with Coach Bielema.
Coach Coach, you can see the release from everyone around you, your players on the sideline. Yesterday, you used the word heartache to describe the journey that you've been on. What was this like for you?
Well, you know, it's something we earned. I know our kids have worked very hard to get to where they're at, but this is just the beginning. I think our guys know we're a good football team. We're excited to play in LSU, but now we're excited to see what we can do.
Why does this win mean so much to you, Coach?
Well, I think obviously first SEC win, but the thing is our kids understand the mentality and the approach that we have to have, and they're getting better every day.
It's a win. How does this set you up, not only for the rest of the season, but moving forward with this program?
We told our guys last night, a win today wasn't just a win for today. It's something that we're going to be able to build on for the future, and I think the sky's the limit.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Arkansas gets the win. Breaks the stretch. 17-zip. Coming up next at SportsCenter. Enjoy the rest of your night.